What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we're discussing all things games. One of your hosts, Jerrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, my ABXY, Arthur. We've had a hell of a recording time.
Take 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, this is the first time where just the forces of nature have been against us.
Like I said, you just got my luck of electronics that's transferred over to you. Enjoy it. You'll hate everything. You'll question every wire you ever buy. You wonder what super rare glitches can happen to your hardware, and you're like, "Yep, I got them all." That's what happens to me, man.
Yeah, man, it's pretty ridiculous. Just it was one of my microphones that I had was not working, and it's funny because that happened with the Music Buds podcast before we were officially recorded. Preston was like, "This sounds like trash." He's like, "You sound like trash." I was like, "Oh, really?" So I had to go back and I took that mic out. I put that mic in, actually used that one for the episode that's available also today. Music Buzz Podcast. If you want to listen to some other stuff after Gamers for Life, check that out. But yeah, so that one's got to go back into the garage.
And also in terms of your bad luck, you ordered something on Amazon and just straight up got something else.
That's right.
You ordered a mic stand. You ordered a microphone stand like this one here. Yeah. But you got like a TV wall mount. And this is in the box. It's not like you bought something. It's not like you bought like a red thing and a blue thing showed up. No. Like the box came up normal and you open the box and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah,
it's like I got fucked. Like it's kind of like, it reminds me of the old school like GameStop trade-in days where like you'll have that new Game Advisor that takes in a trade and it's like an Xbox like box, but then it's like a bag of sand. That happened once. You never opened the box when you took the trade-in in?
All I know is my luck with controllers. I'm on like my 5th 360 controller or Xbox One controller. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna walk into GameStop to trade in my other 4 functional with an asterisk controllers and be like, why are you trading in 4 controllers? These totally work, right? Yeah, they work fine. I had to move. I'm street broke. I have to sell my Xbox.
This is the kids, I had the kids over for a little bit.
And we were always joking of like, that's how you know when someone's gone like hard street broke, when they got to sell their system. It's like, man, that sucks. So because that's the last thing that's gonna go.
Yeah, I've been there too, so it's funny.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to the Gamers for Life podcast video channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well, so you can check out all the episodes here. We have about 7 or 8, like 8 or so full episodes. We got a bunch of clips as well. And then also, if you want to check out all the other stuff that we do here for the podcast, for example, Arthur, he manages the Twitch stream. Yeah. If you want to check that out, if you want to check out the video or the audio version of the podcast, if you don't want to see our lovely faces, you can go to all those links. All those links will be available on linktree.com/Gamers for Life. So go to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. It'll take you there. And here in the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can listen or watch what you choose by clicking on the links within the time code of the description for every episode, whether it be the YouTube or the audio version. I apologize for the last 2 episodes. It's been rough as far as adding those time codes after editing everything else, but I know for the YouTube for the last episode is available and up, so you can do that. But I'll commit to updating that frequently as I usually do.
Liar, you're not sorry. You went to bed comfy like, oh yeah, these extra 5 minutes of sleep is gonna be so good. Fuck everything else.
Oh man, but yeah, and then before we get started here for our first topic of the day, it's funny. I started to play the Ascent.
Nice.
Oh man, that game's fun.
It's fun. It's like I'll say it's like 70-30 top-down shooter RPG. Mm-hmm. Because normally top-down shooters like picture like the classic Alien versus Predator. You just scroll side to side, shooting, fighting everything. Mm-hmm. But this one, there is a story. There are main quests. There are side quests. Mm-hmm. There are skill points. You can level up your guns. Like I say, it's 70-30 ratio of 70% top-down shooter, 30% or some RPG elements.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, man. It's a really dope title. The music is awesome. Sound effects are really dope as well. It's a really nice shooter when you have a really like busy week and you just want to chill and play something that's not too where like you have to design like something from scratch or like a heavy RPG.
It's like a medium heavy game. Mm-hmm. Like no one goes, hey, I have 2 hours free. Let me start Fallout. No, this is a game you could hop on, hop off. And I forget if I mentioned this. An odd feature I love that this game has is it tells you to the second when your last autosave was.
Yeah, it does.
So just to know, every time you open up your map, it saves.
Yeah.
So again, you can literally hop on whenever you want. I will tell you this though, to a point. I mentioned there's story quests and side quests. This is one of the games where you got to story the main quest hard. It's like do 5 story missions and then do your side missions. Just in terms of like what part of the world is available to you.
Right.
Like right now, I have like 2 side missions in the city, and I've had this side mission forever. But now I started tunnel vision into story mode, and these side missions I've had like for like a few days now. I'm just now able to do because I just now was able to open up that part of the city.
Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, man, like I said, it's just a game where you've long day at work, just want to chill, play, the Ascent. It's pretty fun. So
it's fun. There are some dungeon crawler elements to it in terms of like loot and stuff like that, and also kind of like Diablo or like some dungeon crawlers, you'll go from like being a god to like getting smashed on at the turn of a corner. Mm-hmm. That's how the game passively aggressively tells you can walk down this hallway, but give it 5 more levels. Because there's been times, because the map's to a point open world, like not massive in the sense of like Skyrim, but it is like your mission straight. Well, you can go left, you can go straight, you can go right, pick one. Right. But the game does have a way of like, hey, these guys are super high level compared to you.
Yeah, exactly. Most definitely, man. And to kick off the show here today, speaking of games that are co-op, and definitely had a really good time with it from when it came out. Talking about the Outriders here, and speaking of Outriders, there is a article here from Tom'sGuide.com. And the title of the article,
I was like the map people, Thomas Guide.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Yeah, I was like,
they've come a long way.
Like, that's we literally used to use the Thomas Guide maps doing road trips. Yeah. I'm like, now they do game journalism. Get the fuck out of here.
It's come a long way, man. It's crazy.
Old school, like, oh, you're taking the 110 east. Okay. Turn to page 52.
Exactly. So according to Tom'sGuide.com, the head of the article here says Xbox Game Pass may have hurt Outriders sales. So it says here, did Outriders sell well with the Xbox Game Pass? It's hard to say. Continue on here. It says, in quote, this cooperative multiplayer shooter from Polish developer People Can Fly came out back in April to polite acclaim, and after the company addressed some pernicious bugs, there wasn't much else to say about it. The game aimed to be a looter shooter while excising some of the genre's more repetitive aspects, and it mostly succeeded. There's one other interesting circumstance regarding the Outriders release, though. It's day one availability on Xbox Game Pass. Now the devs have called into question whether it was a good or bad move. The story came out of the People Can Fly investor briefing as reported by IGN. In the briefing, CEO Sebastian Wachowski, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, sir, discussed Outriders' profitability or potentially its lack thereof. Says here in quote, we don't have any sales figures for Outriders. In quote, he said, translated from Polish by Google. We estimated about 2 to 3 million units and assumed that it was a result that would ensure profitability for the project. However, the game may not have sold as many copies As many copies as Wachowski estimated. So it says here, Square Enix, the game's publisher, has not paid People Can Fly any royalties. That suggests that Outriders is not yet profitable, as Square Enix has to pay its own operating costs before the money starts channeling back to the developer. The interesting bit for Xbox Game Pass fans comes next. It says here in quote, perhaps it was caused by some elements of Square Enix's sales policy, the details of which we do not know, such as partnerships concluded by the publisher with distribution platforms or entities offering Outriders as an addition to their products, as Wachowski said. Later on, the briefing states that on the day of its premiere, the game was offered for free for subscribers to Xbox Game Pass service. As we know, obviously, it says here, to be clear, neither People Can Fly nor Wachowski explicitly blame Xbox Game Pass or Outriders' crazy sales figures, but Wachowski did allude to it, and briefing mentioned it explicitly. I'll just end here, end quote, because that's kind of described the rest of the article here. Arthur, what are your thoughts about this situation?
I'm mixed. I mean, to say at face value it quote unquote sold less because it was on Game Pass, yeah. I mean, I still bought it. I told you, I bought it because there was that small it was like a week long window where the beta, the demo dropped, and then a week later it was announced as on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And in that week, in fact, the second I finished the demo, I was like, I'm buying this.
Yeah.
So again, to say on face value, hey, it quote unquote sold less because on Game Pass. Yeah, Square Enix, welcome to Game Pass. And the thing is to say it's like, oh, it did less and da 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 da. Well, here's the thing: if it was more successful, I think it would have got even worse reviews, because if you remember, day one, there was a ton of server bugs. I don't mean too many game bugs, but server issues.
Yeah.
Especially with cross platform, there was definitely host privileges, where the host would just be teleporting. If you're a guest, it looked like the host was teleporting just because they had less latency, better ping and shit. But to say they haven't, and again, say, oh, the developers haven't got their royalties because it's sold less. One, I want to know how many of the Square Enix games are on Game Pass, and two, if this was their first interaction with Game Pass, it just sounds like they did little research into what Game Pass is.
Well, I don't think the article actually stated that because it got less that they didn't receive. Because it's on Game Pass that it made less. I think the biggest conundrum is how it's compared to other Xbox Game Pass sales, and then also as we know, Square Enix is connected to a behemoth of other stuff, Tencent, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know what part of the books that they're sharing with People Can Fly.
Yeah.
I think that's really the big conundrum, and I will shoot them some bail here. The guy did say that well, we're not necessarily blaming Game Pass, we're just kind of confused. Yeah. The fact that the CEO is where's the money for my developers for the game coming out so early? I don't think it's a Microsoft issue. I think the funds are at Square Enix, not necessarily Microsoft paying them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
And here's the thing too, and especially for a game like this, I would argue Game Pass definitely helped increase the player count. Because to a point, it's you got to think, what is your goal? And for a lot of games nowadays, like GTA and stuff like that, good quality games isn't the goal. Player count's the goal, because player, especially in GTA Online, player count means more people to buy shark cards and shit. So it's if, let's say, Square Enix said, oh, it sold less than it would have liked, then I would argue if it's sold via money transactions, sold less than they like, I would argue they definitely had a higher player count because of Game Pass.
Because I think you're right as well. Because a lot of these multiplayer cross-play games, a lot of people are very weary of shelling out a full 60 for them, just because of past things that have happened. Obviously you have Game Pass as well, and then obviously Square Enix too,
especially
has been sticklers.
Yeah, and you mentioned nervousness. coming off of the failure that was Square Enix's The Avengers game, yeah, people were nervous for this.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, from the makers of the game no one fucking plays. It's a new game. That's also a looter shooter. Because mind you, remove the Avengers skins. It was like not a looter shooter, but it was a loot driven game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like yeah,
unequivocally.
So again, to say, hey, from the people that made you that is this thing. A lot of people are like, I don't know. But then again, the demo came out, which is a smart decision from them. Because again, I went from Outriders, maybe it looked okay, to like playing a demo of like, oh my god, I want to play this game. It was like Final Fantasy combined with Gears of War. But like I said, you and I have a lot of mutual friends that would not have played it. They were not going to buy it, but they only played it because it was on Game Pass.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the word of mouth too, like you mentioned. So yeah, I have a friend that he like, I think after Anthem we all were scarred. We were just like, what the fuck? So yeah, we were very, very cautious, after that experience in general.
Yeah, Anthem was a fun game for like 5 hours.
Full $60 too. We're like, what the fuck?
I'm still fucking annoyed that Anthem had this cool cutscene, and every single player was like, okay, when's the cutscene going to stop? And when can I shoot things now?
You're right.
Oh, can I shoot that? Can I shoot that? That's a giant robot. Can I shoot that? And the cutscene keeps going and keeps going. And you're like, wait, so someone was reminiscing the coolest battle scene in the fucking game, and you couldn't play it?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was like by far my least favorite memory of fucking Anthem.
No, yeah, I mean that's a very valid pet peeve. I mean, a lot of people have that same issue.
It was like a South Park episode where Kenny died and he had to fight heaven and hell, fight the army, and they kept going, oh my god, that's so graphic. Oh, the angels are fighting the demon things over there. This is happening. This battle is amazing, but they don't show it to you. the archangel Michael's like losing his shit over Kenny controlling the armies. He's using the archers to take down the shield bearers. This is amazing. This is even better than Lord of the Rings. And they never show you a second. They never show you a second of the fight. You're like, you fucking assholes.
That's hilarious. So talking about Microsoft here, moving into something that I'm super like. PlayStation makes me so sad, but let me preface this. So there's a really interesting thing that dropped here this week when it comes to the Xbox Series X and S, and regarding to the emulations, of emulating old school games, old school systems. Just because a lot of when it comes to the support and finding those games really difficult, and a lot of people that just want to play those games don't necessarily want to. They don't want to sell it on the black market for Nintendo to get them or whatever. They just want to play these old school games for the pure nostalgia. And there's actually an emulator called the DuckStation, which provides a pretty insane emulator for the Xbox Series X and S. So according to SlashGear.com, it says here on the title, DuckStation PS1 emulator now works on the Xbox Series X and S. So it says here, to continue on, game emulators have been around for a long time and are typically designed to allow retro games no longer being made to be played on other platforms. One of the more popular emulators available today is DuckStation, and it emulates PS1 games on other platforms. The emulator is designed to give users playability, speed, and to be maintainable for the long term. DuckStation has now been ported for an operation on the current generation Xbox Series X and S game consoles. When run on the Xbox consoles, DuckStation can harness the additional power of the consoles to upscale classic games by the factor up to 16 times. The upscaling means significantly higher resolution than anyone who've played the games on their original consoles will remember. The video, which can be seen below, obviously we can't see it, showing DuckStation running on a new Xbox console at native 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. When the emulator is run on the new Xbox consoles, players can also have the option to enable true color rendering. Enabling the feature turns off the dithering effect used for video games on the original PlayStation console. Users can also enable texture filtering, which smooths out textures on 3D objects when they are enlarged. Xbox gamers also have the ability to fix texture warping, which is something that commonly happens on original PlayStation games. It says here, users are warned the enabling of those features will require significant processing power from the console. However, the processor power required doesn't seem to strain the Xbox Series S, seen in the video above. It's worth noting that the running original PlayStation games at 600 frames per second can cause problems for some titles. Thankfully, games can be run at their original frame rate. End quote. So it's kind of hard for me not to do this. Another one for the Xbox.
I love it.
It's just another thing that shows that Xbox does PlayStation backwards compatibility better than the PlayStation console.
Well, there is an asterisk to this story. Like I said, so there is an asterisk to the story, and the article goes on and on and on. But at the end, it's like, oh, by the way, you have to have your console in what's called dev mode. Yeah. Like developer mode. So this isn't like breaking news. You can just turn on your Xbox and download DuckStation like an app like you would Twitch. No. But it's just funny to me of like, hey, you want to play PlayStation 1 games? Buy an Xbox.
Dude, like it's nuts. Like the first thing that I found interesting was that I guess emulation for Xbox consoles, like they've made this not super readily available, but the option has been there for a while, like since the original console. I had no idea.
I knew about the original console because I knew you can like, what was the phrase? It was like a phrase like you hack it and all of a sudden it becomes like an arcade. I remember somebody hacked the original Xbox and it was like had every single arcade game made from like 1980 to like present. Yeah, like Alien vs Predator.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And this is funny too, just real quick, because this is PlayStation 1. This came in the same week of the news, gaming news, that somebody discovered a bug in Metal Gear Solid 1 and accidentally broke the world record for a speedrun. I think she was trying to speedrun in general. But then like there was a bug that skipped a significant chunk of the like non-essential gameplay. Yeah. And she broke the record. And to my knowledge, stuff like that is okay. Yeah. Like the whole like the Mario 64 speedrunning, you butt jump backwards up the stairs to travel super fast. It's like rather than walking up the stairs, you just do this butt jump and you like you travel 3 flights of stairs in a couple seconds. Nice. But yeah, I saw that. I just saw that. Like maybe she could rebeat the record on her Xbox.
Dude, this makes me want to buy an Xbox, like strangely, you know what I mean? Because there's that dev mode and then there's the regular mode or whatever that you can switch back and forth to. But it's just, to me, it's just there's an obvious population for these old school consoles, you know what I mean? Or these old school games rather. And the lack of support from PlayStation, you know, under the leadership of Jim Ryan, I just think it's a really bad. It's just, you know, it's a bad decision. It's a bad decision. I think it's just poor leadership when it comes to that particular era, you know, and then especially with, you know, you have the Steam Deck that's coming out from Valve, and a lot of people are going to be reserving to play the Steam Deck merely for emulation, or the majority emulation.
And, you know, and not, for me, not just emulation, but like I want to play PC. For me, it's like I want to play PC games. But then if I play a PC game, I have to have a controller adapter for it, just because I'm just not to go with keyboard. Like I can, like it's weird. I can like my Guam, like my typing speed is decent, but whatever reason, the second you tell my pinky to start putting in work in a game, it's like, what the fuck is happening? My ring finger is like, what are you doing, man?
That's a really good point.
So that's why I have my eyes on the Steam Deck. But yeah, you know, you look at the Xbox Series X, you look at the Steam Deck coming out, and it's like, again, I still think that Sony's just banking on those like 3 games, like God of War. Gotta love the helicopter going. God of War and like Horizon Zero Dawn. And it's like, dude, you can't bake an entire generation of console a year after it's released. On 2 games, one of which is delayed. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, man, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, you know what's funny too? Like, even just slightly aside from the emulator conversation, but even Epic, they had a potential deal. I don't think they ever went through with it. where they offered Sony like $200 million.
Yeah, I just tagged you.
Yeah, 4 games, like 4 to 6 games to be a PC port on their store. You know, so it's just like, it's just so annoying.
And Sony turned down $200 million. So if they're not listening to their customers and they don't want money, what the fuck do you want? It's like you're taking Jim Ryan out to eat. Hey Jim Ryan, we're going to this place called Listening to Your Customers. It gives me heartburn. Hey, we're going to this other restaurant. It's still drive-through. It's a little quick. Easy fucking money. I don't like it either. I was like, what the fuck, dude? What do you want? Just tell us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's really strange. You know, to me, they would make. I think they would, you know, maybe the cost of manufacturing for like a mini PS1 or PS2 handheld that just runs only PS2, but it runs them, you know, it runs it as the original hardware, so you're not going to have any issues when it comes to that. Like that would be, to me, there'd be a significant market for that.
Not even that. Just fucking do what Xbox does and update your fucking digital store. Mm-hmm. Like right now, you can still buy Xbox original games digitally on the fucking store. Mm-hmm. Like right now. And it's funny actually, because I've been kind of having, you know, game ADD of like what game to play. It's like I have all these games to choose from. I don't know what I want. But I've been playing a lot of little things here and there of multiple games. Like normally what my formula is, I have 2 games to play. I have like usually a giant RPG and then like a multiplayer cooperative thing. Mm-hmm. Right now, I've been hopping a bunch of stuff. The Ascent, and I got back into Ace Combat. Mm. And here's what I mean by that. This is awesome. My original Ace Combat 6 Fires Liberation, something like that. But Ace Combat 6. My original Xbox 360 save file from college is still there.
Oh wow!
Via the cloud.
Damn, that's crazy.
So I picked up Ace Combat 6 exactly where I left off in college.
Damn.
So that cloud file has lasted 360, Xbox One, and now Series X.
That's really interesting.
And again, speaking of nostalgia, and you know, the benefit of this is I re-beat Ace Combat 6, and now I'm playing 7, and I'm so hyper. I'm so excited for 7. They released a season pass with more missions. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm buying that when I got back into Ace Combat.
Nice.
On a side note, Ace Combat is like one of my favorite, like top 5 like franchises / sagas.
Yeah.
It's like Mass Effect, Ace Combat, Kingdom Hearts.
No, very nice. Very nice. Good stuff there, man. And then moving on here when it comes to old school games, transitioning here, we thought this was interesting. We're big fans of the previous recent Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Incredible. Just the writing. Everyone did a really great job, I think, on that prior film. And some even more awesomeness for the sequel, according to TheVerge.com. It says here in quote, for the title of the article, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 casts Idris Elba as Knuckles. So it says here to continue on, Knuckles, the Echidna, thank you, is set to make his live-action debut in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 next year. And now we know who will be voicing him. Now, other than Idris Elba, cast in also other movies, apparently Elba appears to have not yet been completely scared away from showing up in hybrid live-action animated films with sometimes questionable CGI. According to the leaked synopsis for the film, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 will actually see Elba's animated Echidna team up with Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik in search for an emerald that has the power to both build and destroy civilizations. And with a tweet, Elba says, "Knock, knock," with the picture of the Knuckles of Knuckles. Continuing here, it says Elba will join Ben Schwartz, who voiced Sonic for the first film, and returning live-action actors James Marsden as Tom, Tika Sumpter as Maddie. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 will also feature Miles Tails Prower, who appeared in the post-credit scene in the first film, but it is unclear if the Flying Fox character will be voiced by Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who has also been voiced as Tails in other Sonic games and media, or also will be recasted with an actor with more name recognition, since the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is set to hit theaters April 8th, 2022, end quote. Sounds like fun.
I like I said in the last episode, I was super happy with how the new Suicide Squad movie came out. I told you one of my favorite characters is Idris Elba and his back and forth with John Cena. Bloodsport and Peacemaker.
Yeah.
All their scenes together is hilarious. I rewatched The Wire a few years back, so I've definitely been having a lot of Idris Elba intake.
Nice.
So I'm super happy about this, and I like the reference of like he wasn't traumatized of live action characters, aka fucking cats.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was looking up the meme real quick because apparently something else that's been happening from this. Not only like gamers, let's just arguably, this is relevant, like mainly like male gamers being like, oh yeah, Idris, you're awesome. I can't wait for that. There's been a decent amount of fucking thirst tweets.
Oh, wow.
From this. And so everyone's just replying his fucking line from The Office. I know the effect I have on women. So it's just funny of like, some guys like, oh man, I can't wait for you to play Knuckles. The first movie is amazing. And then some like some thirsty ass tweet that's just funny as shit.
Great timing, as the internet tends to do at times.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you're playing Knuckles? I like to lick your knuckles. It's like, oh, my God.
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, it's just Idris. So, yeah, I'm happy for the casting. And real quick, by Tails, I would definitely predict some known actor.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Ben Schwartz as Sonic, who did amazing.
Yeah.
For me, mainly known as John Ralphio.
Exactly,
from Parks Rec. I quote him more than I should. Jerrell knows one quote I do a lot is like every time we see a car or like, not like a fender bender, but a car turns in your lane, doesn't fucking see you, or just shit like that. I quote him all the time like, oh yeah, I made money the old school way. I got run over by a Lexus. Just fucking classic.
Oh yeah, definitely. No doubt about that. And unfortunately, one game that could have been a classic and was unfortunately very disappointing, and especially its DLC this is the first DLC rather that just released and is not a fan for the populace, is a good old Cyberpunk 2077. So according to SVG.com here, it says here, after a long year of hotfixes, patches, and even refunds, Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red has finally delivered the game's first DLC. However, it seems that the lack of features has turned the arrival of the new content into yet another letdown for fans of the much-hyped open-world role-playing game. The new DLC was announced during the live stream on the CD Projekt Red Twitch channel dedicated to the new 1.3 patch for Cyberpunk 2077. As noted in the patch notes posted at cyberpunk.net shortly after that live stream concluded, the patch will include 3 pieces of significant DLC, including an alternate appearance for Johnny Silverhand, two new rare jackets, and a new vehicle called the Bandit. In addition, the 1.3 patch offers improvements to the driving mini-map, which fans on Reddit have previously labeled useless. Beyond that, the patch includes extensive adjustments for balance issues, bug fixes for the massive number of quests, as well as improvements on visual problems such as an issue causing NPCs to not look at V during various scenes. Yeah, I've realized that too in the PC version. While it's great to see CD Projekt Red committing to fixing these titles' bugs, many players were hoping for more. Let's see here. I think I'm just gonna, or let me read this last part here. It says here, Cyberpunk 2077 players were told to expect expansions for the game, which CD Projekt Red's UI coordinator Alvin Liu once compared to the massive additions the company produced to The Witcher 3. While very little about the launch or post-release schedule for Cyberpunk 2077 has gone according to plan, there are still plenty of fans invested in seeing the game improve and expand, which makes minor DLC drops like this disappointing at best. End quote. I mean, I feel like at this time, I just don't think they're going to really impress fans at this point.
I uninstalled the game like months ago, and I haven't even touched it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait for next year for the It Finally Works edition. Because, I mean, seriously, like they're announcing DLC and fans are actually saying, like, you're releasing DLC? the game itself is still nowhere near fixed. Seriously. how you gonna release DLC that's gonna be buggy because your core game, your core code is fucking buggy.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, a year from now when it's like, hey, it's fixed, then I'll be like, okay, let me reinstall it.
Yeah.
But until then, I mean, like, dude, I want to know like how many people are like still actively playing this thing.
Yeah, that's a good
like
question.
How many average users on Steam or console like are loading up Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
And it's like, again, I'm not saying the game's like story's bad. It's just, we all fucking know the game's like to a point not playable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like again, like how a lot of people are saying you should have just focus on fixing the game and doing that. But then we joked how like, oh, well, now we know why, like possibly why Cyberpunk's taking so long to be fixed. Is because there's only a handful of people working on it that were working on it before. Because now they're making mobile games. They're making mobile games like fucking The Witcher Mobile or The Witcher Hunts, whatever it's fucking called.
Yeah, the mobile game. Yeah.
It had like a 500,000 downloads in a week and like made $1 million and or vice versa. Had 1 million downloads in the first week, made $500,000 within like its first 2 weeks, and it's like, so. CD Projekt Red, what's your focus? What's your focus now?
Yeah. I'm still with just like, I'm still disappointed in CD Projekt Red. You know, I'm disappointed. It's just from as far as for they used to be a household RPG name, next to old school BioWare days. So now with something like this, where and like you said. This is in a sense my Fallout 76, just because I never played Fallout 76 because you were like, don't play it. God damn it.
Don't play it. Don't fucking play it.
So like this is kind of my 76 where like I remember like working at GameStop reading about it, like, oh fuck, this is coming out, this is supposed to be awesome. Mm-hmm. And then when it finally comes out, it's like, oh wow, like this is not working for like everybody else except for me because I was playing it on PC at that point. But like even some of the bugs that it mentioned here in the article, as far as like people not looking at you, like that's in the PC version as well. So I was like, oh my god, like
what's the minimap thing? What's that? Expound that. So is like their minimap just like fucking broken or something? Or is this like the way the interface is done?
I think so. I didn't have any minimap issues on the PC version, but as far as like talking to different NPCs and they're not looking at you, like that was in the PC version, and that was like the most polished version of the game. So I was like, okay, so.
Yeah, the reason why I sound different or because remember, it's like my opinion on this situation went from like disappointed, fall from grace to like, again, in the middle of the roadmap. They're in the middle of the roadmap. They're like, oh, new mobile game. I'm like, what the fuck you? Like, fix your fucking game, dude.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because it's obviously, it seems like it's a cash grab to kind of cover for how much money they lost during all of this. And they still came into the black after all of the crazy refunds and stuff. But still, it's just like you have a bunch of disappointed fans that might not buy your next title.
Yeah. Again, look at Fallout. Look at Fallout and look at Bethesda. People are like, yeah, Starfield's coming out, and I'm like, I'm not hyped for it. Like, I'm nervous about it.
They just came out. I was gonna link it to you. I don't want to raise your blood pressure. They have another like creator appellation mode for Fallout 76. I was like, let me not send a star because he's probably gonna be mad.
What, dude? Fuck you. Fuck you, Todd Howard. Like,
so yeah,
yeah. Fallout 76, Cyberpunk release, dude. I'm upside downside. I'm glad you and I are part of the new era of, guess what? AAA games need to work at launch. That's crazy. Because we've gone through generations of just like, oh,
it's like crazy idea. What if what we wanted actually works?
Yeah, I mean, Bethesda was definitely the fucking torchbearer of shit not working at launch, and we just put up with it. You're like, hey man, who are you gonna run behind? this guy or run behind the guy with a fan and fucking shit flying in your face. I like this guy. Bethesda's all right. Like, now mind you, again, like Fallout 4, New Vegas was Obsidian, but like Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and all these games, like Skyrim, super fucking glitchy. But we just put up with it.
Yeah,
and I'm glad we're collectively like no more.
Yeah,
fix your fucking games. And if in the middle of you fixing your fucking games, you fucking drop a mobile game, you can go fuck yourself.
It's like I don't care if they're separate developers, separate department. Like, no, all hands on deck. Fix the goddamn game.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
It's like, hey, guess what they could be doing? Helping fix your fucking game. Helping fix your fucking game. That's what they could be doing.
I agree, dude. You know what's funny? I was thinking about adding this for the show, just kind of like a side note. Like, I forgot, like, some of these Instagram comments for some of these, like, ads that I see for, like, GameSpot or other news sites that have, like, oh, like, this is coming out. And then I'm like, well, let me see how the gamers feel. And they go to the comments and people just, like, people are really fucking funny, dude. Part of me wanted to add it for the video show, just showing, like, Instagram reactions and show, like, gamers, like, comments and stuff.
Dude, comments... minus the death threats.
Well, yeah, that's not funny.
Some of the comments people leave are hilarious.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, it's like the topic. One of the last topics here of the show. It's pretty goddamn funny comments on Instagram for that, but we'll save it for later in the show here. But absolutely correct there, sir. And speaking of maybe people being misguided and thinking that they own things when they really don't. So we talked about this earlier this year, actually, when we were talking about the KFC console. Still waiting for that, by the way.
Do you know what? Do you know what goes perfect with the KFC console? Oh, you have leftover chicken? Where should you put it? Xbox mini fridge.
Exactly. And then that's probably an amazing emulating machine too. So imagine I'm playing PS1, I got the chicken warmed up, I got my gamer fuel in the Xbox fridge, then now it's alcohol. Sounds like a fun time.
Dude.
Sounds like a fun time.
But yeah, if you're gonna tell me I'm gonna play games while cooking chicken and I got 9% alcohol Mountain Dew in my Xbox mini fridge, I'm having a good fucking day. Having a good fucking day.
So like I was saying, we were talking about this earlier this year as far as for Soulja Boy, how he was releasing a console or whatnot, or working on it. That's still kind of in like the we'll see what happens era. But if we were to talk about the updates on Soulja Boy and what his situation currently is, apparently he thinks that he now owns Atari when Atari is telling him not really. So according to
fucking moron.
So according,
you just wake up one day. Do I own Atari? I think I do own Atari. Oh fuck it, Atari's mine now.
So
dumbass.
So I'm very confused as well. So according to Uprocks here, it says here in quote, Soulja Boy really wants to get into the video game business. A couple years ago, he infamously started selling his own handheld video game consoles. Were full of presumably unauthorized copies of famous retro games. Now he's apparently under the impression that he owns Atari, an assertion in which Atari disagrees. In a recent video, the rapper proclaimed, "They signed me to a deal to Atari. Shout out to Atari, the whole staff. I'm about to revamp the company. We're about to take Atari to the next level. Somebody go follow at Atari. I am now the owner of Atari. I own the video game company Atari, the first rapper to own a video game company." And if you don't know, he's the first to everything when he's not. We're going to take it to the next level. The rapper also changed his Twitter bio to indicate that he is the company's CEO. Based on Atari's response, it seems that what Soulja Boy said is factually inaccurate. In the response, Atari tweeted, "We know that CEO of Atari is a dream job, but that honor belongs to Wade Rosen." Atari says in a tweet. The company that currently uses Atari brand name, by the way, isn't the same company from the 70s and 80s that released Pong and Atari, the 2600 console, as the brand name has changed hands multiple times over the decades. End quote. You know what's funny about this? It's like, why would he it's either one, he signed something with Atari that he didn't know what he was signing, or he's just like clout chasing. Like, I don't understand.
He clearly, like, in his own quote, he clearly said, "Hey, I got signed to help promote Atari and stuff like that." Next tweet, I'm the CEO.
Like,
and again, real quick, the Soulja Boy's history of being the first to something. Did you know while he was looking for a path around the world to the Indias, he discovered America? He was looking for a spice route, I swear.
Like, yeah, there's some things that he was maybe the first person to, not necessarily he created himself, but like Kiss Me. I think this was a Kiss Me Through the Phone, a Soulja Boy song. Like he was kind of the first to mention like like a FaceTime like thing on like a rap song. So like, yeah, sure, I'll give you that. But everything else, like, this is like ridiculous.
Even his game console itself,
yeah,
like the hardware is just a knockoff of a Chinese knockoff.
Right, and they've been doing that forever.
so first here's what I mean by a double knockoff. If you go to Amazon and search like janky shit, you'll find I think it's been removed now, but you used to be able to find this janky Chinese knockoff to play games that's like illegal.
Yeah.
And then Soulja Boy went, I'm gonna make that. And like when you look at his website with the console, it's literally just that. It's just this Chinese knockoff fucking console. So he knocked off a Chinese knockoff.
Yeah, man. Oh man. If he had anything Nintendo on there, like he would be fighting a lot of legal fees.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Remember, he was supposed to have like Smash and shit.
Oh yeah.
Smash is the thumbnail. Smash was the thumbnail, like on the screen. That was the thumbnail.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, Soulja Boy is not.
It's not smart.
A great businessman.
Not the sharpest. Yeah, not the sharpest tool in the shed, unfortunately.
But he'll tell you who was the first tool in that fucking shed. That's Soulja Boy.
Oh man, yeah, that's hilarious. And to wrap,
yeah, little people know, man. Let's update the wiki right now. Try to find a new path to the West Indies. Hey, what's this like land over here? I'm gonna call it North America.
And like and this to stay on Soulja Boy for a little more, like he had an Instagram live where like a bunch of people were like, "Oh, congrats, bro." And he's like, "We're gonna change the company," and then like. You gotta imagine like Atari, like the offices for Atari. They're like, "Sir, Soulja Boy saying online that he owns the company." It's like I'm sending out a tweet from somebody.
I'm trying to think of a skit or a bit from some show. Must have done something like this.
Oh yeah. South Park's gonna have a field day.
It's like, hey, do you want to promote stuff for you? Yeah. Okay, thanks. What's up, bitches? I'm the fucking president. Hey, real quick, while you start that, I'm gonna move my cat. She's going nuts inside a room.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah, man. So crazy stuff, and so just to wrap up the show here. Wanted to go into the last segment here on the show, talking about Halo Infinite. And as I've been mentioning for quite some time now, Halo Infinite has been pretty skeptical to me when it comes to the release date of the actual game. And just to preface this before I go into the main topic here. So Phil Spencer, we had a couple of interviews as far as for Halo Infinite, as far as when the release date's going to be, why don't we have a release date now, and he's made a bunch of different reasons and everything like that. Now, these new developments create a very interesting conversation, and you'll know what I mean after I read the article. According to Polygon.com, it says here in the title of the article, Halo Infinite won't have campaign co-op or Forge mode at launch. So it says here, Halo Infinite won't launch with the two franchise most desirable features. Developers at 343 Industries said Friday that campaign co-op and the multiplayer editing Forge mode won't be available when the game arrives. Forge in particular will lag behind about 6 months. The announcement was made on YouTube. Unfortunately, we focused the team for shutdown and really focused on the quality experience for launch. We made the really tough decision to delay shipping campaign co-op for launch, Stanton said. And we also made the tough call to delay shipping Forge past launch as well. 343 announced 1 year ago that Halo Infinite would miss its original 2020 launch window, delaying the game into 2021. It still has no firm release date. On Friday, 343 said that the co-op campaign mode would be released as of Season 2 of Halo Infinite's post-launch content. And that Forge mode would be part of Season 3. God damn, I didn't know that.
Fuck.
Staten said that these modes were delayed in order to ensure quality of the base game. Our number one priority is making sure that whenever we ship it, it meets the right quality across all platforms, he said in the video. And when we looked at these two experiences, campaign co-op and Forge, we made the determination they're just not ready. And as a studio, we don't want to ship things if they're not ready. Cooperative play has been at the heart of the Halo franchise since the beginning. Forge mode, which also allows players to build their own multiplayer levels and game modes and share them online, was introduced in Halo 3 in 2007. Fortunately, we got to give him one of these.
That mixed with a god damn it.
yeah, very, very much so.
What do you mean? They're like, oh, we want to make this the good quality of the game at launch. And how? I've never heard of a game not launching cooperative campaign day one. That sounds like some Xbox 360 shit.
You know, to me, this kind of opens up like eyes open around the entire situation for Halo Infinite. So like what I mean by that is like originally, you know, I remember when we saw the gameplay from that Xbox conference or whatever it was, and both of our consensus was, you know, this looks fine, but doesn't necessarily look next gen, you know.
Yeah.
And then shortly after they pushed it back, you know, which we said was a great decision, obviously, but because we wanted the game to be done. However, going into this year, you know, there's a lot of tap dancing. I love Phil Spencer. You guys know how much I love Phil Spencer. A little bit of tap dancing as far as for the game. You know, him.
That reminds me of the interview. We talked about where he was like, "Yeah, even if this game doesn't do well, Halo will be just fine. Halo will be just fine." Like, what
is that? What do you mean?
And none of us knew what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
And we're like, why would you say that? What? Why wouldn't it be fine? So I guess this is what he was talking about. Like, yeah, you know that core campaign that we've had since the Xbox original?
Like 6 months behind, dude.
Dude, the Forge won't be available till Season 3? Fuck.
That is insane. That is insane. Like, and I feel like, this really sucks, and it pretty much, to me, it's also a testament of how bad COVID fucked everything up. I feel like, because I know the gaming industry was trying to do a really good job of like saying that it wasn't an issue, but obviously, you know, it's impacted everything.
Dude, I feel like with games nowadays, when you know why it's gonna be super fucking delayed, it's like a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Of like being honest and upfront with the player base of why it's being delayed.
Yeah.
So like first of all, I got delayed of like, hey, we showed you an enemy up close that looks like from the original Halo. So take a step back, let's polish it. And again, from that, they made the game no longer open world and more like a normal Halo, which was like, no one told them to do that. Like, no one pressured them to there was no big massive pressure to change the style of your fucking campaign from open world to like linear. That's
true. That's true.
So that was the decision. That was the decision that came out of left field. Like, no one. Okay, you know, I don't know. But so I'm saying with damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's like, again, it's like it's like putting dirt under the rug, just like hiding it as long as you can.
Yeah.
Like how at some point someone knew, hey, it's November 2020, the game's supposed to come out, it can't, we need to delay it, how long? And at some point, looking at the roadmap, someone had to realize, hey, the campaign won't be cooperative day one. So it's like, how long ago did they know that?
Right. And
how long did they sit on it? Now, but again, to be fair, it's like, how long, if you find it out, how long should you sit on that?
Yeah.
Because it's like there's no good way to deliver that news.
Yeah, exactly. And then to me, it's kind of funny that like Phil Spencer's like, I'm not delivering that.
Phil Spencer looked at it and said, you know what? If this game doesn't do well, Halo will still be fine. Which again, we were laughing at, but like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like is this what he's talking
about? He was warning us.
Yeah.
6 months.
Dude, that's a lot. And
here's the thing, it's for an offline, like quote unquote offline. Well, it would be online, but like, you can't play couch coop.
I guess not, man. I guess not. Campaign co-op, no go.
That just hurts, man. Halo and Gears are, Halo and Gears made the foundation of what Xbox is today. And what made that foundation of those games, yes, they're multiplayer, but arguably to how we all dipped our feet in those games, especially Halo, the fucking multiplayer, the cooperative multiplayer.
Yeah, the Forge mode I can understand being pushed, but the couch co-op is a huge fucking
campaign. I've never heard of campaign things being delayed. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Now I've heard of things being added to it, like Ghost of Tsushima. I was like, hey, in this DLC you get this. Oh, and guess what? A cooperative mode. Shut the fuck up. But I've never heard of a game being delayed for campaign shit.
Especially for a game that's been known for how amazing couch co-op is.
Like, how is, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could they have not worked on that first?
I mean, my only educated guess would be that they felt that cross play was more important because it's going to be available.
Cross play with who? You can't play with your friends.
Well, no. Well, I mean, there's
multiplayer.
Yeah. That kind of worries me about the campaign too, though. You know what I mean? Because
again, I'm going back to that thing I just said of like, why did they change it from open world? Mm-hmm. That was 100% internal decision.
That was their decision. Yeah.
And it's like, and this is I don't know if like this is like it got fucked up because of that, or maybe this is like why. Like would it have been possibly delayed longer?
Yeah.
If it was open world.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and it also kind of worries me as far as for the co-op experience in general, because I feel like if you're delaying a co-op mode for a campaign, like a lot of co-op that's embedded within the actual campaign itself.
It's like something that's built in the foundation of the code.
Yeah,
so to speak. I don't know coding. I may act like I say it, but I may act like I know a little bit about it. I just use fancy words. And that 4-letter word code. But again, I just recent memory. I cannot think of another significant AAA example of a campaign shit being delayed.
Now I feel like
now I'm worried about the fucking game.
Yeah.
If Phil Spencer, how much do you know? Like, you know what I mean? Because he was like, he said a lot of cryptic, vague ass shit.
He was dancing, and he was trying to protect 343 and not give him a bad name. And
well,
yeah.
Here's the thing: if you're looking for a scapegoat, I'm told Soulja Boy is looking for a position. Hire Soulja Boy for a day, dump everything on him, and then a few months later just fire him.
That's hilarious. Yeah, man. I think this is disappointing, and now I'm curious as far as like what they're going to show during the Xbox conference that we covered. The last show.
Do you think there's gonna be any Halo stuff on the 24th?
I mean, I thought there was. Now I have no fucking idea.
Now they're just like, again, they're just pushing on the rug. Like,
yeah. I thought because I thought at least we were gonna get a street date, and I think we kind of have to get a street date now, given that they already said yes, these two modes will be pushed back 6 months. Unless they call an audible and say fuck it.
I still can't believe it's gonna be season 3 to the Forge, not even season 2.
That's crazy.
It's long.
That's crazy.
It's a long fucking time.
Yeah, in 6 months, that's 2 quarters, man. Like, what the fuck? What? Yeah.
By the way, let's just try to do some math on this. By the time the campaign launches, we'll be halfway to 2023.
Yeah.
Fuck.
God damn.
Yeah, when you put it in that perspective, you're just like, Jesus Christ. Hell, by that perspective, we might be 2 years away from GTA 6.
Yeah. And then, part of me wonders, I hope the multiplayer is really solid because that's going to be holding people over. You know what I mean? Imagine if the player base just dipped 6 months. You know what I mean? There's a lot. There's a lot of risk,
dude. That's big.
Yeah.
I wonder how much this game's gonna flop now.
Yeah.
That's a major fucking factor.
Absolutely.
Cooperative campaign. It's been there since the original fucking Xbox.
Right. It's the mascot of the console.
So, is it going to be revealed that 343 tried to stretch their arm, try to stretch too far?
Maybe.
They try to go for an open world campaign, and they were just in it over their heads, and then just fucked them?
I think they were, because I do remember, I forgot the person's name, but there were some creative directors that did step down that left Halo Infinite.
There was a few.
Right?
There was 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He's like, there's no cooperative in this? I'm out. Deuces.
When are we working on this? Should we do this early?
It's like, hey, who's ever gonna fall on that sword? Ain't gonna be me. Fuck you, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
like,
dude.
Like who has to take the brunt of this?
Yeah.
That's such a weird. I just can't get over it. I can't get over that in the next gen world of Xbox Series X, a game as fucking fundamental as Halo, your flagship game for your fucking console.
Yeah.
What's next? God of War is fucking a pacifist. Kratos just decides just to only meditate all day. Fuck.
Oh yeah, the fighting will be implemented 6 months from now. I was like, what?
Yeah, day one's what we call the hugging patch. What's my special move? Patty cake. Baker's man. Yes, the blood won't exist till 6 months later. It's so weird.
Oh man. Well, yeah, definitely a sad way to end the show here, and hopefully by the next episode, we would have watched the updated Halo conference, or the Xbox conference. And see what they say. See if they respond, if they say anything at all when it comes to this.
Something else to keep an eye on is I mentioned how the 24th is day of the Xbox Showcase. 24th is also the day Psychonauts 2 comes out.
Psychonauts.
Something else. The 23rd, Aliens Fireteam.
That's right. And that's looking pretty good, too. I mean, if we want something that... is that campaign co-op? I know online, like the campaign for co-op, you can do it.
It is, but it's not cross-play.
Right.
Remember, that was the thing.
That's right.
And that's why I went like, wait, I remember the reason why I wasn't going to buy it. Oh, yeah, because we can play together.
yeah, exactly. Because it's looking good. Like, I'm seeing it, like, it's looking better. Once
you like what you're seeing, I'm like what we're seeing, but we can't see it together, so... Sorry, until that's fixed, I'm not spending $60.
Right. No, I agree.
Sorry.
I agree. And I think that's going to be available way before. I mean, it has to be, for the game to sustain at all.
Oh, watch me erase. Who gets cooperative campaign first? Who's going to get cooperative campaign first via crossplay? Halo or Alien Fireteam? Fuck, dude.
We shall see.
6 months. God. What the fuck?
So with that, we're probably going to, probably drink in sadness. But that'll wrap up this show here for the Gamers for Life podcast, each and every Saturday discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, Arthur Thomas.
That's me, not playing Halo Day 1.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.